Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. It's Amplitude. Welcome. We're live on both Twitch and YouTube. So wherever you are, it's good to have you. Today we're doing something a little different than we usually do. A lot of the times we're playing the endless games, but today we're sort of breaking down the new trailer for Endless Dungeon, which premiered last week over on the Summer Game Fest kickoff, which was pretty cool. We've got a couple special guests here, which I'll introduce right away, but just a little bit of housekeeping. Like I said, the Endless Dungeon trailer is out there. You can go watch it over on YouTube, but we're just breaking it down here so you can...
out there. It is pretty out there.
It is pretty out there, yeah, exactly. We've had a busy week here at Amplitude. We also have launched the closed beta for Humankind, so you can check that out. You can get yourself a key by watching streams from streamers who have key drops enabled on Twitch, but you can also gain access by pre-purchasing the game on the Epic Games Store and Steam. So if you're interested in that, if you want to check it out, there you go. Go right ahead. But the men of the hour, we've got Jeff and Jean-Max here. Jean-Max, the creative director here at Amplitude, and we have the narrative director or narrative emperor, however you want to put it.
Emperor, I think is preferable.
Okay. All right.
In fact, yes.
Do you guys want to talk a little bit about what you do at Amplitude and on Endless Dungeon?
Jeff, you were one of the founders. You go first.
Me, okay, thank you. Yes, so I guess for those of you who don't know Endless Dungeon, it's sort of not really a sequel, but it's inspired by Dungeon of the Endless, which came out 2014, I think. Mm-hmm. And it was a kind of a crazy mix-up of ideas that a bunch of the guys had one evening after work over tall, frosty glasses of an amber liquid. And you know, they all went away over the weekend thinking about these fun ideas they had. They came back in Monday morning. Every single one of them had done like a little design document over the weekend. They're all like, "Oh, we got to do this now!" So that kind of grew like that, and we loved it. Got a lot of really good feedback, got a lot of really good comments, and we said, "Okay, let's do another one," but we're doing it a little differently. So it's totally inspired by similar style, similar feel. Gameplay is going to be a little more hands-on. Anyway, so I got to be part of that one, and now I'm part of this one, and it's great to be a narrative emperor. That's all I can say.
Okay. Well, I'm the creative director at Amplitude, and I basically take care of all things creative on the design side mostly, but also working hard with Jeff on the narrative. With our art directors, with sound design, composers, making sure basically, the vision for each of our projects is sound, well communicated, and ambitious, fun, appealing.
Amazing.
Yes, we shoot for amazing.
Why don't we just go with narrative emperor and creative emperor and just like keep it consistent?
Or amazing creative emperor. I mean, you know, we could.
Exactly.
Well, I have Horatio in my title.
Yeah, that's
which
true.
is in itself amazing.
Etienne, can you bring up those titles again?
Because like what tops the better Horatio?
That's true.
Yeah.
The better Horatio. That's it.
Exactly.
You know? Game over.
These are official. These are official now. We're going to HR. So what's going to happen in this stream is we're going to be breaking down the most recent gameplay trailer for Endless Dungeon. There is going to be a Q&A portion of the stream near the end. So we have the Cat of Nine Tails, Stephanie, watching the chat. So at any point, if you do have a question, just toss it in. We'll try and get to as many as we can. We can't promise we'll get to all of them. And we can't even promise we can answer every question that you have. But you can definitely ask it. So, So we will get to that. But first, what we're going to do is we're going to watch the full trailer. So let's do that now.
We're stuck in this wreck until everybody learns the rules. Yep, all of them. Rule number 1. Certain weapons work better on certain monsters. Learn it or die. Oh, option B then. Rule number 2. Use turrets to protect that unstable dust bomb we call the crystal. Because it's their catnip. And if it goes, you go. Yep, just like that. Rule number 3. Watch your squad. Even if you've got the guns, the turrets, and the crystal, you can't do everything by yourself. If you fight alone, you die alone. Together again. And rule number 4? Well, if you've got all that going, but you still can't win, you gotta change the squad. Tag team. I'm in.
Awesome. So that was the Endless Dungeon trailer. If you missed it, hope you enjoyed it. Right now, what we're going to do is we're going to kind of go through those gameplay bits, and I'm going to ask the pros over here, the two emperors, a couple questions about what's going on here, give a little bit of context for what's happening, and again, the Q&A session at the end. If you have any questions that you want to know, you want a little bit of clarity on any part here, all you got to do is just throw that in the chat. But I think we can start up. We have Etienne on the 1s and 2s over here, so he's making all of this happen. So round of applause in chat for him.
Definitely, definitely.
But yeah.
Without which we'd be doing this like from a phone.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
It's nowhere near as cool.
Yeah, it would be bad.
In a word.
So yes, we'll get this gameplay going right away. So yes, this is the first clip here. I guess we have, the first thing we can talk about is Shroom, which was the name voted on by the community, which is pretty cool. Can you tell us a little bit about this character?
Well, yeah, there's a lot of things to say, I guess. First of all, the name Shroom. What happens with these is, anytime we name a character, we come up with a lot of ideas internally. I throw a lot of ideas at designers, artists. Anybody comes up with an idea. The artists often have really good ones because they did the actual visual designs. They had, what about, did you notice this? We could call it that. So that's very cool. So I come up with a list, and we put a big list together. We decide which ones we're going to let the community vote on. I didn't come up with Shroom. One of the guys, I think it was Cedric, right? Or was it you who came up with Shroom?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
No.
So somebody came up with Shroom, right? As soon as you hear Shroom, it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, that one's pretty good. so yeah, that made the official list, and then Jean-Max sees it, and
and then the community says.
and
it's
then
a
you
good
guys
name.
saw it, and so yeah, so that was kind of in there pretty easily.
Yeah.
So the idea is Shroom is the medic, basically the healer of the gang of heroes that you're going to be able to play in the game. So as you can see, slightly more fragile than some of the others.
Right.
If you want to go into the endless lore part of thing, Shroom is actually a Harasham, which was a minor faction in Endless Space 2. Very sort of peaceful agrarian people. So that kind of ties in with the healer, the plants that she's carrying, and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So from sort of the lore perspective, that's what I can say about the character.
Okay. Cool. And actually, just to give a little bit of context for the community naming this character, so on Games Together, every once in a while we do have votes going on for the names of different characters. I know the band has been named by the community.
Actually, those little monsters that kill Shroom in that scene, those are Nibblers, and that was chosen by the community.
Yeah, exactly. So
we do stuff like that, yeah.
Yeah, so you guys have a say in what's actually happening in the game, and we'll be doing that. I think the plan is to just do that right up until release with different things in the game. So if you don't have a Games Together account, if you're not on there and you want to sort of dictate what happens with the names of things, you can definitely go do that. But in this clip here, it looks like Shroom is kind of struggling a little bit. No teammates around, no turrets around. Jean-Max, like, what are some pro tips you can give here? Like, what's going wrong with this here? here?
Well, I think, I mean, the pro tips are pretty much the concept of the trailer, right? It's the 4 rules of Endless Dungeons. So, right now, I would say, going alone is, I don't know if it's rule number 3 or 4 in the trailer, but being
taking care of your squad.
Yeah, taking care of your squad is something that should always be in your mind. And so placing turrets, obviously. So basically, there's quite a strong emphasis on exploration in Endless Dungeon. One of the taglines of the first one was "What's behind the door?"
Right.
And opening a door should always feel like a reward and at the same time an opportunity, but also a danger.
Threat.
A little scary.
Definitely a threat. So you want to progress in a way that obviously you control, you strategize, and when the waves come in, you're not taken by surprise, which is obviously what Shroom didn't do in this case. And so they get brought down, and so does the crystal, I believe, in
Paid
one
the
of
ultimate
the
price.
next shot.
Actually, this is the Know Your Weapon clip. So there's going to be several monster types in the game, and each one is going to tend to be more susceptible to a certain kind of weapon that the heroes can have.
Right.
So clearly, Shroom has not chosen well, because it's taken a few shots to take each one of these guys down, and they're like the lowest level of that particular monster family. So, as the French would say, peut mieux faire. I mean, they can do better than that.
There's various families of monsters, and each of them is vulnerable to a different, what we call damage type. And so, it's very simple system of, fire destroys wood, and water
puts out fire.
Out fire, thank you.
It's like that paper, rock, scissors kind of thing.
Yeah, paper, rock, scissors is probably a better analogy. Anyway, so you'll have to take that into account, and that will also be mixed with your turret strategy and tactics, and also your squad strategy. And of course, we're going to make it so the more you advance through the game, the more difficult it is for you to do that and stay sane at the same time. To do all of that. So there's lots of things we can do to just. I mean, it's an incredibly simple yet deep system.
Totally.
Yeah, just for the very precise point, I think the bugs, which is that monster type, are vulnerable to fire.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So you want your fire weapon.
You heard it here first. Don't do what Shroom did here. What's the little circle behind Shroom right here? That's sort of this thing.
Yeah, that thing on the right.
Yeah.
That thing.
That's one of the.
That's one of the. Actually, the same as one of the.
It's a crystal.
Is that a crystal?
That's a crystal docking point, I think.
Oh. Okay.
Oh yes, that's a crystal docking point. Okay, I was wondering if it was one of the generators.
The generators. No.
Anyway, yes, crystal. The crystal was key to Dungeon of the Endless, right?
Right.
Every level was about securing a path to the exit and then escorting the crystal to the exit. The only difference in Endless Dungeon, well, one of the differences, but a key difference is that you are basically always escorting the crystal. You need the crystal to progress through the level and then find the exit.
Right.
Okay? And what that means is that your crystal is also going to help you by powering doors, systems, and for those to be activated, you basically need to dock the crystal. Kind of like this.
Right.
Exactly
so that's
like
the
this.
crystal docked in one of those.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So what will happen is you can come to a door that you can't open. You have to actually go back to the crystal, say, okay, we're going to move now, escort the crystal, it'll open the door, and then you can get to that next section.
Right.
So there's going to be waypoints, sort of, like that.
Right.
Except, of course, every time you dock the crystal, something bad happens. And you have to take care of that if you want to see what's behind the door.
Okay. So unlike in Dungeon of the Endless, it was sort of like you find the exit, then you just bring the crystal to
Then
the
there's
end.
like one crazy run from beginning to end.
Yeah, so this one it's a little more gradual, like you're trying to
exactly.
bring it with you.
It's basically also, going into full control over the characters, as in controlling them with the controller.
Right.
One of the things that we immediately looked at was the crystal rush at the end of each level in Dungeon of the Endless, and how could we keep that same spirit. But basically, I mean, long story short, it was much better to escort it at all times with your 3 characters and keeping your position,
Right.
and making sure everyone was firing with direct control over the direction of the firing. It all just came together very nicely.
Cool.
Moving onto consoles.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's also a PC game, but this time it was built with consoles in mind.
Okay. So I think this is the first time we're seeing the Craver character here.
Right, that's the guy on the right there with that attractive stovepipe hat sort of thing,
yeah.
and the extra arms.
It's looking good.
Yes, with Shroom there. That's the Craver. I don't think he's been officially named yet.
I think unnamed
I
so
think.
far.
Well, he has a working name. They all have
Yeah.
working names.
Come on, give us the working name.
And so his working name is 30 Finger Clem, because he used to have 36, but he's an explosive expert. So, had a bad day. That
Okay.
happens. So yeah, we call him Clem, but who knows what the final name will be.
Yeah.
He's basically Shroom is a healer support type. He's clearly a damage type.
Right.
So he has a big gun. He's gonna have some other little toys to play with to fill that role.
Very cool.
And special abilities.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Actually,
Ultimates. I mean, one of the things, sorry to interrupt, Jeff,
No,
but
it's
one
a
of
good
the
point.
things you see here on the screen right now, boom,
There.
is Robbie doing her special skill. And so basically each hero has their own skill and ultimate.
Right.
And those both depend on the meter or gauge that fills up during gameplay, and that you can unleash at any time to basically turn the tide of combat.
Okay. So every character has
Every
one of these.
character
They're-
has.
They actually have sort of a passive that's just sort of their gameplay style.
Okay.
And then 2 actives.
Yeah.
And so that's one of Wait, we voted on the name, right? Is it Roby?
I think
or is
it's
it
Bunker.
That's
now.
Bunker now.
Yeah.
That's Bunker. Yeah.
Did I say Robbie?
Yeah.
It's Bunker. Sorry.
Sorry.
Robbie was the working
You
name,
can
right?
guess what
Yeah,
the working
because
name is.
Nice. Cool. So I think we talked a little bit about the monsters here, but here in particular, in that previous shot, we were seeing quite a few different kinds. Is this what you were talking about when there's sort of like
Right.
different types of monsters or different
Yes.
families of?
There's,
monsters.
I can talk about the different types, and maybe you can tell us more about where
No,
they come
go-
from. There's actually, you can see 3 types in this trailer. I can tell you there will be more. I mean, by 3 types, I mean 3 families.
3 families, yeah.
3 families of monsters, not 3 monsters. So there's the bugs that you're seeing here, with the flying bugs, and what did you call them again? The creep. The creep.
The nibblers.
The nibblers. And
Well done, Etienne.
Whoa.
Very nice.
impressive.
That's some editing magic right
Nice.
there.
That's
Sharp.
like taunting the creative director for forgetting the name of the. Thank you very much. So those belong to the
Bugs.
the bugs class, or bugs family. Then, if you go back to the trailer, you can also see.
These winged guys coming
Yeah,
on the left
but
there.
here the robots, basically service
Right, oh,
bots.
sorry.
We have. So they belong to the bot family. Again, each monster within the family has different abilities, is aimed at fostering a different type of challenge, will be vulnerable to different types of tactics, turrets, damage types, etc. There's a 3rd family hidden pretty well in
Just one little glimpse, I
yeah,
think,
there's
here.
a glimpse of one character. It's actually at the beginning, I believe, of the.
Yeah. 'Cause it comes
we had it.
comes from the left there. Go ahead, roll it, Etienne.
Roll it, roll it, roll it,
Roll it.
roll.
no,
Maybe
that's wrong.
it's an. It's
See, they got
here.
Oh,
Yeah,
On
here.
the lower left there.
Lower
little
left.
Easter egg.
Lower left. That's a blob.
One of the blobs.
Okay, so the
One of the
family
blobs.
is blob, and the work in progress name of that one is the Charging Beasts. But maybe we have an official name now.
I don't think we do.
That's
I
a
don't
shame.
think we do. At least I don't know. Charging Beast is fine.
Charging Beast is pretty terrifying, honestly.
But
You should look at the thing. It's pretty terrifying.
yeah, we
Yeah.
have more coming. I won't say how many more families, how many
Yes.
more types of monsters and fun situations with incredible monsters that we're thinking of right now. But in this trailer, officially confirmed, you have
Yes.
3 families. Now, Jeff, tell us who they are. Who
Okay.
are
Right, so-
who are the blobs?
So the blobs. The blobs essentially are the remnants of experiments that the Endless did in the station where the whole game takes place. The sort of the backstory, the lore of the universe is this amazing precursor civilization called the Endless that colonized all the planets and discovered everything and was sort of living everywhere across the entire galaxy. And then in a giant civil war, they sort of killed themselves off. And so all that's left is these fascinating and dangerous and valuable relics and artifacts and places to discover and explore and pick up and look at and get killed by. So in the station here where the game happens, part of it was this big sort of biological lab of all sorts of strange things, and some of those got out. And so they're among the enemies that you'll be having to fight. That's the whole blob class of family. That's where they came from.
Very cool.
Then the nibblers and I guess
bugs
the
in
flying
general?
ones, the bugs, they are bugs basically. Those are sort of just like your cockroaches on the station that once all the systems are gone, all the Endless are gone, they start taking over, and then they run into some of the blobs and some pretty ugly mutations happen. So you have a lot of these different bug types as well that exist. And as you can see, the blue robotic ones that have all the blue effects around them, those are the bots, and they are the remnants of security systems. There's security in a very wide sense. There used to be bots that did the hedging on the trimming on the lawns and that sort of thing, and bots that took your kids to school, whatever.
Right.
So there's lots of these bots on the station. And some of those are left, and some of the programming might have gone a little awry. So yeah, they're going to pose their own particular challenges.
Very cool. Yeah, that's amazing. It's so cool to have sort of I guess new Endless lore to talk about. It's
Yeah.
gonna be awesome.
It's good fun to come up with this stuff.
Yeah.
It's watch the team come together and come up with things.
All the visual effects are basically hints at. As a viewer of this trailer, you can pretty much tell that the bots are vulnerable to electricity. You'll probably see bugs attacked by one of those plasma turrets with fire.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's actually quite a lot of stuff going on in that trailer. Although it's still early and it's going to be even much better.
Yeah.
at a later
It's
stage.
not coming out in the very near future.
No,
so there's
right.
a lot more work that's going to go into this.
Yeah, I mean, it's worth saying that this is early footage,
Yeah.
very early footage. Which is the reason why you're not seeing also any interface. We actually had a very productive meeting today on the direction that we're taking with
For
the
the UI?
interface for the UI.
Nice.
Nice.
So you can expect. I mean, we have tons of ideas to make this come to life as this, as we like to say, galactic western
Yes.
roguelite,
Very cool.
and really give you that feeling of loneliness in the middle of deep space, and having to fight all those hordes of monsters to even try to have a chance to get out.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is early. You can expect much more stuff, much more variety. Other heroes, obviously. So you can see 3 in this trailer.
And then we've also got Zed, right? Who is the
Right.
one who comes in at
Yes,
the end. It's
we've
the
got
part of the
Zed.
CG part, but
Yep.
Yeah, Zed is the link between the gameplay captures, right? She's the
Right.
one at the
In the
at the bar,
At the bar.
yeah.
getting ready,
Commenting on the
Commenting on their-
incompetence of
the incompetence of
Yeah.
the people she's about to recruit.
Exactly. Yeah. Cool. All right.
That's right, Zed.
Yeah,
So this is
Zed.
the vote right now.
Yeah. No, that's that one. That happened.
This one.
That's finished.
Oh, that
That
one's
was-
finished.
yeah, that
Okay,
was
so it
finished.
is. Yeah. Okay. So I got it right. So yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a good point to bring up. Yeah, it's fairly early, but even still, like, I don't know if you want to talk, Jean-Max, about some of the lighting effects that we have going on here, because it looks just so good. Like even the crystal, the way it glows, and
huge kudos to our art team
Yeah.
on the game. Whether it be 2D, 3D lighting, visual effects,
the design of the set, the rooms, and there's a lot of.
I think, I mean, there's a lot still going on in terms of, balancing
right.
stuff here and there, but I think the atmosphere that comes across in this early footage is exactly what we're going for. And, this will be spread across many more biomes, environments. So expect this to be, something that evolved through all the stages of the dungeon, and it's going to become more and more dramatic
Yes.
each time you go down one floor. So it's beautiful.
Yeah.
What can I say? What can I say? It's state of the art,
It's
and
gorgeous.
super happy to see how. It's worth noting that these things don't happen overnight,
Right.
and there was a lot of thinking that went into, okay, how do we translate Dungeon of the Endless One's art direction into 3D with a slightly cartoonish take on all the design, but
Right.
finding that right balance and nailing the atmosphere in regards to all of the constraints of the DNA of the brand, of wanting that galactic western, of being a modern roguelite. And I'm thrilled to see this. I couldn't have dreamed of anything better at this stage.
Definitely.
We're proud parents, I have to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, as far as the districts go, I think most of this footage was taken in the district that we're calling the Devotion Garden, which is, I think, on the second level of the station. You're going to work your way down through the levels progressively, and of course they get more difficult and stranger as you go on. To get your crystal to the end, what we call the core currently, that's sort of the equivalent of game over when you manage to do that. That's the equivalent of, in the original Dungeon of the Endless, getting through, I think, 12 levels of the laboratories to escape. So
Okay.
yeah, there's a lot. It looks gorgeous. I love it, but there's going to be even more and a lot more variety and that sort of thing. So I'm excited to see all that coming to life as well.
Very cool. I think we can get to some questions. I see that
Sure.
we have quite a few over here. So
Great. Okay.
I'll read them out, and I
Yeah,
think
no
Etienne
questions
will-
that if I answer will get me fired.
Okay,
That's
yeah,
my
I'll-
only. That's
We'll try to hold off. I think Stephanie is pretty good at
That's true.
not getting us in
she's
trouble. but
responsible. That's good.
don't
We're,
know.
we're in good hands.
Maybe she's got a bit of an agenda. We'll see.
Maybe she
all right.
wants you fired.
All right, let's go with the first one by Safety Brick. I do have a question. What was the idea or decision behind going with what looks like 3-player co-op over the typical 4?
In 2 words, cognitive load.
Big words.
Those are big words, but basically we started out with 4, And bear in mind that when you're playing solo, you're switching from character to character and have to remember where they all are, adapt to the situations, switch weapons, place turrets, issue simple commands like follow me. Keep in mind where the crystal is, the objective you're trying to reach. I mean, that's a lot of stuff that you need to take care of. And with 4 characters, it becomes overwhelming.
Right.
It becomes overwhelming, and you're basically almost you at some point you almost fall into playing 4 games at once. Like, okay, let me switch to that room, and it's never a win strategy.
Right.
So. 2 obviously would have been underwhelming, and 3 was actually the perfect spot in terms of feeling, in terms of that feeling of depth, control, but at the same time staying on top of things. Also bear in mind that these will be unlocked as you progress through the game. So you might start alone or with 2 players, and then unlock the 3rd slot pretty soon. But still, we want you to get used to that gameplay, which is still, I mean, it was innovative in Dungeon of the Endless. It still is. It's still the magic recipe for Dungeon of the Endless. But now it's with direct control, and that changes the game entirely.
Yeah,
so this is basically, the reasoning.
I think there's also a big issue of on Dungeon of the Endless, you could really sort of zoom out and get sort of the big picture of things and understand what's going on. In a game where the camera is naturally much closer to the action, and you want it to be because you want to see all the effects, you want to see the great artwork that's been done, but you're also controlling and aiming and that sort of thing. To do that with 2 heroes and then 3 heroes, you want to try to get 4 heroes in there, particularly if you're playing co-op with friends.
Right.
Either we have to be zoomed so far out, it's like an abstract chess game and you can't see what's going on.
Right.
Or you literally have these guys that are off the screen, you don't know what each other is doing. And really, it's very hard to do that. Because you've had guys playing 3-person couch co-op, and it's great. And that's also actually, going back to the earlier question, that's one of the reasons we didn't want you trying to run the crystal from the beginning all the way to the end in one go. Because it's big. And and you have 3 people running around. There's no way you can do couch co-op and follow who's positioned where. And that. So we have to move the crystal in sort of controlled units and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
See, I always manage to make an answer way too long. It's like my superpower.
That's okay. So we do have a question about release date here, but there's not one.
It's a year, not even.
Well, there's a question. There's no answer.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we're sorry, but that's.
We acknowledge the fact that there is a question about the release date.
And we would love to tell you, but
we would love to.
Yes. All right. So we do have one from Doodle Goop. Is it a challenge to make something more actiony and a shooter? Is it a challenge to make something more actiony and a shooter since you tend to make 4X games?
Yes.
Yes.
Next question.
No. Hey, wait. Doodle Goop's a pretty regular customer on our stream. So hi, how you doing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No. Of course, we can say a bit more than that. Yes, it's a challenge. That being said, it's still a unique recipe. Again, Dungeon of the Endless. It's got this roguelite meets tower defense meets RPG. So we don't expect to have levels of action that are akin to Devil May Cry or Bayonetta. It's still it's still
not a hack and slash. Right?
It's still a tactical game, but you should still have an amazing gun feel, know exactly where you're shooting, have feedback on wherever you're shooting, know where the bullets are coming from when you're getting hit. There's all kinds of challenges, but we have people in the team that worked on the original Dotty. We have people on the team that we recruited after the project started and that have worked on other action games before.
Right.
And so it is more actiony, and yes, it's got its challenges, But the overall challenge to me is more like, okay, what is the overall experience of Endless Dungeon? How is it different from all other games out there, not
Right.
just action games?
Yeah. We like a challenge, I think.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. That's good.
Atypically, I have nothing to add.
Yeah.
So, but I just had to say that because I always have to add something. But
Of course.
good answer.
Le Goblin.
Le Gobelin.
Le Gobelin. That's my French. This person says the Craver Cowboy is fire emoji, and then says, "Is it a Craver Cowboy?" Which
Tell us a bit. I mean, let's talk a bit about maybe the Galactic Western reasoning.
Yeah, I think we're not giving away too much of the game development plans to say yes, it is a Craver Cowboy, but it was intended to look like a Craver Cowboy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one of the great inspirations for all sorts of games and films and everything else is the American Western. And whether it's the classic Westerns or the more revisionist ones, there's an awful lot of meat there to dig into as far as settings, as far as stereotypes, as far as plots, thematics, as visual
Archetypes.
images. I mean, just sorry.
Archetypes.
Archetypes, yes, exactly. There's so much matter there. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
And plus, it's just, there's a certain style to it that is just really enjoyable to play around with, the tropes, the traditions, the archetypes, the ideas, and that sort of thing. So, when that got bounced around in a really early sort of creative meeting, it was like everyone sort of goes, but duh, yes. Of course you want to make a galactic Western, right? So that was pretty easy. And so from there, it just sort of, it snowballs. And every time you come up with a new character and a new district or biome, it's like, okay.
It's being, what would you prefer? Being lost in the middle of nowhere in the desert or lost in the middle of nowhere in space?
Yeah.
Depending on the technology you have.
I was going to say breathable air.
No. Okay, yeah. It's. I mean, there's many links between those two. I mean, between sci-fi and westerns.
Yes,
Right.
And
that's true. There's a lot of history there.
and we intend to ride that. And I mean, it's also a reason why we chose folk as one of the. As the music genre that would be played by the band in the saloon, right?
That was like one of the first things. It's like, okay, if we're having I want a saloon. We have
Yes,
to have a saloon.
That being said, it's not like the saloon and Clem's cowboyness are like the most, I guess, under the nose things you're gonna see.
They're
it's
the
not like you're
they're
gonna
obvious. Yeah.
Yes. So it's not like
They're not walking. They're not all walking around with revolvers and chewing tobacco and that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's more like finding the fun combinations
Yes.
and creating something new out of I guess sci-fi and westerns idiosyncrasies. Whoa! I
very
just
nice
dropped the
word.
yeah.
Whoa.
all these syllables over here.
Yeah.
Wow.
Next question. All right. Comte pseudonym. Okay.
Le
There we
court
go.
pseudonyme.
Can characters be directly controlled? I know we sort of answered that one. I mean, with aim and so on, does it mean multiplayer will be in the game?
There will be multiplayer co-op in the game. Yes, you can play the game solo or co-op with your friends.
Yes. Another one from.
And directly controlled. Yes, so directly controlled and yes, multiplayer. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yep.
Doodle Goop, on a scale of 1 to 10, how excited is Jeff to be writing another Endless game?
Not just Endless. It's like Dungeon of the Endless, right? So that's because the Endless games, the 4X games, have a very, very specific sort of style to them. We like them to be sort of vast, epic. Epic in the most noble sense of the word. I mean, when we try to come up with stories in those games, we don't look to westerns. We look more to like Greek tragedy, Shakespeare, that kind of thing, right? I mean, they're that style of games. They can have humor in them. They do have humor in them, but it's generally that sort of tone, that sort of atmosphere that we're trying to bring out. And this is just literally. And when you did Dungeon of the Endless, Homa, the CEO, who was he was creative director at the time, basically said, Jeff, you know, I know I like to make like bad jokes and silly things. Just like, okay, this is your game. Just go crazy. Do whatever you want. And I was like, baby.
That's amazing.
So for me, it's really fun to sort of get back into this. Plus, you know, we have all these, you know, we're a bigger studio, a lot more creative minds, a lot other people come in with their great ideas, and so it's just, you know, it's just a fantastic experience to do an endless game, but B, a dungeon game, because then you can really get to go off the rails a little bit.
Yeah,
It's very
Nice.
fun.
definitely.
Green Armor. How many playable characters are planned for the release?
10 playable characters.
10 heroes, yeah.
10
10.
heroes.
There we go.
And they will all look stunning, have, you know, lots of fun
of
stuff
skills,
to do.
Yeah.
Lots of skills. I mean,
things,
we
yeah.
really want them, like each of them, to have an incredible personality. This is, you know, we say this game is hero-centric, and I mean, yeah, those characters need to have so much personality that you're in the saloon and you're putting together your crew, and it's a
Exactly.
dilemma each time
Yeah.
and every time.
Yeah.
So
Just
all,
looking
like-
at them.
Right, yeah. So all unique abilities,
Yes.
like everything
Yes.
feels different no matter
Yes.
who you're playing.
Well, they'll
yeah.
still be shooting guns and placing turrets, but
Right.
that's
Exactly.
pretty much
But
it.
yeah.
And walking in
They're
between.
more to them
Not
as
all of
people.
them. Not all of them are
Actually,
walking.
it's true.
Whoa.
That's very
Ooh.
true.
a
good
bit of a
point.
hint.
Oh,
Very nice.
A bit of a hint.
And they
Yes.
will each also have sort of like a Western archetype also that's, you know.
Yes.
So
So from Roma Konopak, sorry I didn't say your name in your native language. I'm very sorry. But will the game have a Hades-like structure, like the plot moving forward afterwards, kind of like a roguelite as opposed to a roguelike? Are we allowed to answer
Thank
that,
you
or-
for the comparison.
yeah.
First, I mean, it's always good.
Hades, it's a great game.
Yeah, it's a
Yes,
great. I mean,
amazing game.
we love Hades, obviously, and developing a roguelite today, you have to know
Yeah, you
your
have
Hades.
to play it, you have to understand it.
You
and
have to understand your Hades.
Yeah.
Um,
it's also it's very different in that we're going to have 10 different playable heroes, and that has a big impact on a lot of things, particularly like the narration, because you're
Yeah.
hearing so many different stories from different points of view.
The short answer is yes. Yes, the story will advance in between runs, and yes, we want the story to motivate you to do one more run, and then all of a sudden it's 5 in the morning, and
And you're still
the
dying every
sun's out
5
and you're
minutes.
still dying. and the narrative unfolding in between runs is absolutely key
Yeah.
to that. That being said, yes, as Jeff was saying, we have 10 heroes, a station that is very different to how Hades is structured. We'll probably go deeper on that in a later
future,
stream,
yeah.
or. But so it's going to be different. You know, you've got those 10 characters, relationships between them, knowing where they come from, accomplishing quests, bringing back items to the saloon. There's going to be all kinds of stuff that have you basically interact with the characters from your actions or from the combination of heroes that are in a position at some point and start
Right.
to mingle. There's going to be, I mean, yeah, we have high ambitions for
Yep.
the narrative.
I mean,
Very
each of the heroes has their own goals, has something they're after, some reason they're there, or some reason they want to get out of there. Each district has its own history of the station. There's you know, themes going through there about when and why and how the station was built and by who and what happened to it and that sort of thing. So there's tons of that sort of thing that's going to be happening. That's going to be unlocking and unfolding slowly as you play your way through the game.
Right.
But that's just something we've always loved to do in all of our games. So yeah, there'll be a lot of that in there.
Very cool. Okay, I think we have time for just maybe 2 more. Earwickers says Terosh Emlek, Eslek Terosh, Eseb Viltaros, and Eseb Tarosh. Is there going to be another one of these types of characters, like the Dota
Archivist.
Anniversary?
The Archivist, they are known as. What's the best way to answer that question? Not as one of the initial 10 playable heroes.
Ooh, wow! With the teases here.
I can say that as a certainty. Now, will there be an evolution? I mean, that's a very specific character from the Endless Universe lore. That's an archivist that sort of kept popping up in the different games as this character that's going and collecting information about the Endless and what happened to them and where they are and what's the situation of all their different places now and that kind of thing. So
there you go.
It's a really good question.
Yeah. All right, and the last one will be from Crimson Lanceman. Were you guys inspired by Alien Swarm when making this?
That's a really good reference. It's a Valve game.
Yeah.
I don't know if people have played it much, but
I wasn't.
well, the creative director wasn't. So there. That's an answer.
No.
I think. Well, I think maybe other games were inspired by that inspired us. There was never a particular time where like 10 people in the studio were, 3 or 4 people in the studio were playing it together, and it wasn't like a cult game for us or anything. We've seen it. A lot of us have played it. It's a very cool game, I think. And it's that's a really good question because it's in different environments. It's science fiction. It's a shooter.
Were there games that would pop up in conversations, or not even games, like pieces of media that maybe would pop up in brainstorms and stuff?
There's a lot of we always discuss differences. We were talking about Galactic Western earlier. I mean, one of the references that I used with the team to illustrate that is the Cowboy Bebop anime.
Amazing.
Right.
Yes.
Amazing. Everybody knows it, but but to me, it's exactly that. Galactic Western. You got those 2 bounty hunters. Very strong personalities, hunting criminals for rewards. You have the TV show every time with. I mean, it's some of the stuff is very again under the nose, like it's called Cowboy Bebop, but and they've got those commercials with the cowboys in between. For to when they get, I think it's when they get the wanted poster, like this criminal is wanted for. And it's an incredibly epic sci-fi
opus.
Opus.
You're making me. I want to go rewatch.
Yeah, I mean, rewatch it. It's amazing. So there's that. Of course, we're talking about Hades. There's no better game in the roguelite scene right now in terms of delivering. I mean, I'm not even going to talk about gameplay because it's so different from ours, but in terms of delivering a compelling, engaging narrative that keeps you going, and always yearn for one more run. Of course, we talk about Hades a lot.
Children of Morta.
Children of Morta is another one. In terms of the interface and how some of the UI things would pop up on screen to underline the fact that you're, launching a special attack or an ultimate. We talked a lot about Persona 5, which is Atlas.
Well, we tried to pick good inspirations.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
It's like any game that like last 5 years kind of gave you a buzz. It's like, okay, how'd they do that?
Yeah.
What's,
in terms of how. Actually, another Supergiant game in terms of how the heroes move and how they combine abilities. In the beginning, we played quite a bit of Pyre.
Nice.
Also.
Yeah.
Wow.
But there's always, inspiration is everywhere. It's around us. It's in games, of course, but I think it's dangerous to only be inspired by games. So reading music sometimes. I mean, Lyra's music is an inspiration to us. Basically, listening to her music and picturing her as a character, 2D character first at the concept stage in the saloon, gave us lots of inspiration as to how to make the entire saloon come alive and how the bar had to be reworked now that we had a better idea of the scene, etc. It's always moving, right?
Yeah.
So
And that first trailer like really sets the tone. Like that song is just so good.
yeah,
Jeez,
there's more coming.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
There's more coming.
Yet
More
another
quality
tease,
content.
everybody.
Yes.
Amazing.
I think, I go back to as a kid watching, I first started watching like all the old John Wayne Westerns, and then you start watching some of the spaghetti Westerns, which are, kind of revisionist. It's like you stop taking for granted that the guy with the white hat is the hero. He might have some motivation things,
Yeah.
And, and then you go into the more modern ones like Unforgiven by Clint Eastwood, which is, a masterpiece, I think. And so, there's an awful lot of stuff there. And like Jean-Marc said, so much of science fiction, particularly Golden Age science fiction, was kind of transposed westerns. You really see that kind of thing about the crew. It's either the ones robbing the bank or the ones protecting it, or and there's an awful lot.
First episode of Star Wars to me. I mean,
oh yeah, definitely.
I mean, you could talk about Star Wars, but in particular, the first episode, like how they set and like the Mos Eisley,
the canteen,
the
exactly,
cantina
yes,
is
exactly.
definitely one of the scenes that inspires, that still inspire us.
Yeah.
Sorry, I
Absolutely. Star Wars.
interrupted.
No, you're right. Star Wars. I mean, I saw that when it came out, and I was a little kid. Like for like an hour and a half. I didn't breathe. It was just unbelievable. The
Blown
effect
away.
that had on me is pretty amazing. So
Do you know Star Wars, Rogan? Are you? I mean, 'cause you're younger.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, you're
Kylo Ren, right? Yeah.
Kylo Ren. Exactly. Well, we're not going there. But anyway, the Clone Wars. That's
Yeah,
that was really
yeah.
Or Bad Batch. You watching Bad Batch?
I'm not watching it,
It's
but
pretty
I've
fun.
heard it's
pretty
great.
fun. Yeah, that's good. Anyway, sorry.
Cool. Well, guys, thank you so much for
Thank you.
popping on. This was really fun, and it was really cool to check out some of those gameplay bits and sort of get a little bit of context there. Everybody here, I hope you guys enjoyed that as well. Thank you for your questions. We couldn't get to all of them, but if you do have any more questions, you can just shoot them through Twitter. We're at Endless Universe. I think you can see it right here. So you can go follow us right there. And you can ask us your question through DM, or you can just tweet us directly. But yeah, we're pretty active over there. And I think that's pretty much it. Thank you all for watching.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you,
Always a
Rogan.
pleasure.
Thank you,
Thank
Etienne.
you.
Thank you all. See you
Yes,
soon.
Etienne, Stephanie, thank both of you.
Yes,
Yes,
thank you.
Those who are
exactly.
invisible.
Yes. Amazing. See you guys
Bye,
later.
everyone.
Take
See you
care.
soon.